Peace in the air, hold it right there for the fans that care and everybody everywhere. North to the south, to the east, to the west. Freestyling while I upbeat at his best, put the beat to the test. See what we get, one breath in the chest, a conceit in the nest. I'm sleeping, I'm dead, no need for a bed. Up all night, keep screaming instead. Evil I've read that deceives you to death. The people you met that perceive where you went. I don't see how my pen makes me different. If the ink and can never change who I am. Flame in the game, flame in the game, flame in the game. Propane in my brain, flame in the game, flame in the game, flame in the game. Propane in your brain.
Welcome to episode 15 of the We the Fans Network podcast. The gang's all here, minus Zach, who, as we said last week, Mike, you weren't here, isn't going to be joining us as much anymore. But as usual, you could find me on Twitter at WeTheFans_Ron, and you can find our general social media page at We The Fans Network on Instagram and at We The Fans Network on Facebook. You could find Mike at
Whoop, there it is on Twitter, and Boom Went the Dynamite on Instagram.
And Boomer.
And I am at Live with Boomer or at TCB.
Baby, but no baby in the name. But no baby in the name. If you're listening to the audio, check out the video. If you listen to the video, check out the audio. We just ask that you rate, subscribe, review, all that crap. We're not going to go through it like I usually do, because there's something very important that we need to talk about. History was made. Don't put that hat down. We can all see the stupid A on the hat. They have nothing to do with this, Mike, okay? And for those listening to the audio, Mike's wearing a Braves hat and tilted it so the camera can see it.
Proudly wearing it.
And it's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. So, history was made, and the first ever unanimous Hall of Famer into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame is Mariano Rivera, number 42, the Sandman himself. The only person, I think, in any sport that can legitimately be called the GOAT at their position with no argument whatsoever. That's right.
Ron, would you say that he is 21% of the Hall of Fame vote better than the next closer that's in?
No, because, okay, so we'll go back to the conversation we had about the voting, right? I don't agree with the way they vote. So the percentage thing to me is stupid, right? And not the percentage, like the amount of votes needed to get in. That makes sense, the percentages for that. But to me, if someone's a Hall of Famer, they're a Hall of Famer. There's no argument to it. And that's where you could bring in your Chipper Jones, your Ken Griffey Jr., your Babe Ruth, all these guys who should have been unanimous because you can't argue against them. So whoever didn't vote for them did it for a personal reason, and it has nothing to do with actual stats and actual baseball. Because if someone's a Hall of Famer in any sport, and you can't argue it, then they're a Hall of Famer. Now, if you want to talk about other guys that went in this week too, like a Mike Messina, who was arguable, he would have to qualify. But if someone is a Hall of Famer and you can't argue it, they're a unanimous Hall of Famer. I don't care who it is. Mariano Rivera in no way should have been the only one. And in my opinion, this is a really good thing, because it shows that maybe these idiots are finally evolving and understanding that when a person is that good to be in the Hall of Fame, that's it. They should just be in the Hall of Fame. There's no argument.
I say that they got it right with Edgar Martinez. There's a lot of criticism, because he's just a DH, but people don't realize that the DH position extends players' careers now 4, 5, 6 years beyond probably what they would normally play if they just played the field as well. But he was probably one of the best hitters I can remember, and I don't remember too much from him, except for the mid-'90s on the Mariners. Mariano is a Hall of Famer. I give you that. I agree with your take on the whole thing, but for me, it's more of like a publicity thing. Like, if you were good to the writers are going to vote you
Absolutely.
in. He's deserving of it, but I did read an article, I think it was Forbes, how Mariano Rivera is one of the most overrated players in MLB history. I thought it was a bit of a stretch, but that was interesting.
Come on.
Listen to the statistic, though. I don't know if it's true. So basically, in a one-run game in the ninth inning, 95% of the time, the team that is leading by that one run wins in all of baseball. Okay. So to say that Mariano Rivera, granted he was a great closer, like what is that, 97% now with Rivera? So the difference between Rivera and the team just finding a way to win.
He was given more responsibility than that, and you know it. He was coming in the 8th inning. He was coming in, with 3 runs to protect, 1 run to protect, 2 outs, 3 outs, 5 outs.
Totally agree. He was a great player.
I don't remember who said it, but I was reading something earlier, and people are all giving their Mariano Rivera stories now. Oh wow! I just had the name in my head. It just lost me again. I forgot who it was. I hope it comes back to me. But he was saying that when they played them, they would whoever would be standing in the on deck circle would tip the where the pitch is going to the person in the batter's box based off where Jorge Posada would line up his glove. So if he went inside, the donut that goes on the glove that goes on the bat. They would hit the donut hard on the ground so that it fell off, and they would know that that it's going to be a cutter inside. But the joke of the story is that it helped because instead of getting 3 outs in 9 pitches, Mo just wound up getting 3 outs in 12 pitches. So I mean, when you hear stuff like that, like the guy was just so dominant. They couldn't get out of it. It's ridiculous. But we'll move on. We don't have to stay on that too long.
Boomer's sleeping. Hopefully he's
well, no, we're staying on the baseball part of it. We're not leaving baseball yet, so Boomer can keep his nap.
The only thing there's still left to talk about in baseball is that Barry Bonds should be in. That's the only thing there is to talk about.
Fine, so let's talk about it.
So, you agree or no?
I believe he should be in.
He'll get in. I think they're just going to make him and Clemens wait till like the last year of eligibility and maybe even a little bit longer where they can kind of vote in from the committee.
Yeah, they'll eventually
similar to Fred McGriff. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
All those guys will eventually get in. I mean, the Pete Rose argument gets brought up every year.
Now it's a damn shame.
Who's that?
Fred McGriff.
Oh, I mean, Pete Rose, I think will eventually get in.
No, Pete will never get in.
You don't think he'll ever get in?
He will never. Not in our lifetime. I don't think.
Really?
Bonds and Clemens will, though, for sure.
You really don't think Pete Rose? Not in our lifetime. You don't think so?
No, not in our lifetime.
I think at this point it's more of it's better for him not to be in. He's actually a bigger deal now for never getting in the Hall of Fame than if they ever would have put him in.
That's true.
Pete Rose is more now famous because of that than anybody would remember about baseball.
That's true. You know who? One person that honestly I was really happy to see get in, and I really, really thought he should have been in the first place. I don't think there was really an argument. And no, it's not Mike Messina. Roy Halladay. Dude, I was a huge Roy Halladay fan when he was in Toronto. He was awesome. He was so dominant. Unfortunately, never got to the playoffs until he went to Philly. And he was so dominant in the postseason. His first postseason game, he throws a no-hitter. I mean, he was ridiculous. It sucks that he died, but I mean that's not even the reason why I feel like he should have been in. If he was on, I was talking to my friends about this the other day. If he was on a better team for most of his career, other than Toronto, he would be known as one of the greatest pitchers ever. Up there with those names. Say that again, Boo.
Plane crash.
I totally forgot he died. Yeah, in his own.
Yeah, plane crash. He was apparently they said he was flying erratically and crashed his plane.
He was one of the most dominant pitchers in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Watching him, I think he's known though as one of the greats.
But imagine if he had more postseason appearances, Mike. He would really be up there. He would be up there with the big names. He really would.
100%. I wouldn't want to hit against him. That's for sure. But there's a video of him saying that he wants to go in the Hall of Fame. This is obviously when he was alive, wearing a Blue Jays jersey. I just read an article on the train home today that his wife is deciding to have his plaque be blank because she doesn't want to, I guess, disrespect either the Phillies.
Right, he went to the World Series
or
with the
Toronto.
Phillies. I mean, yeah, you can't do that.
So he's going to be the first one with no team on the plaque.
You know who I think, and going back to what we were saying before about the voting and how it's relationships and if you rub guys the wrong way, you know who's really getting the shit end of the stick with that? Curt Schilling. They hate him.
It's got to be reasons for it.
The writers hate him. He never got along with the media. He always had an attitude. You know how it is. But the guy's numbers, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
If you put in Messina, you have to put it in Schilling.
Right. And Messina was borderline, I believe.
I thought Messina was borderline.
Yeah, Messina, you could argue either way. I was fine with him getting in. I was fine if he didn't.
The Yankees years helped him.
I think
for sure.
I think Schilling should be in, and this is why I hate this whole situation.
Personally, I think the Hall of Fame needs to be held to a better standard. I think both Messina and Schilling are forgettable players. Hall of Famers shouldn't be forgettable players.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say Messina. I wouldn't say Schilling. Schilling had points in his career.
The only thing I can tell you about Curt Schilling is the game with the fucking red state sock for the Red Sox when they won the World. That's
right,
it.
But that's because you don't watch baseball, Boomer. Curt Schilling had points
in the 90s when I was a kid.
Curt Schilling had points in his career where he was one of the best pitchers in the league.
Curt Schilling.
He had points in his career where he was one of the best pitchers in the league. And trust me, I don't want to say that. I'm a Yankee fan, but he did. He did.
I don't think he's Hall of Fame worthy. I don't think Mike Messina was either. I don't think a guy like Mike Messina deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Mike Messina had multiple 20-win seasons.
Like that. Huh?
Ron, do you remember when he yelled at was it Girardi or Torre? He wanted to pull him in the 9th inning, and it was like the Yankees were up like, I don't know, 4-1 or 5-1, and he gave up a hit. So I think it was Torre. He goes to come out of the dugout, and you see Messina go, "Get back in there!"
Oh, I did. Yeah. You know why? Because I actually saw that, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see that clip on something on the Yes Network a couple weeks ago. It might have even been a commercial for maybe because he was going into the Hall of Fame. It was probably something about Mike Messina actually. But yeah, there's so many moments with those '90s teams and early 2000s teams. It's just. I would love to go back.
Boring.
All right. So now we can move on, Mike, unless you have anything else to add on the Baseball Hall of Fame. Have you ever been there?
No, but Braves signed Nick Markakis for 1 year, $4 million. So that means they have a good chunk of money to go get a top-end starting pitcher. I'm hoping that it's Bauer.
Imagine if they signed some of these guys like 3 years ago. Donaldson, Markakis. Right?
So we had a lot of good players. Over the years.
They're still good players. They got to stay healthy. Have either of you ever been to the Baseball Hall of Fame? Boomer, I have. It's probably a lot less likely that you have.
No.
Yeah,
I haven't gone to any Hall of Fames.
Really?
No, I don't. I don't care. I think they're
just the Beer League Hall of Fame.
I am the Beer League.
I've been to
Cooperstown is cool.
Yeah, I've been to Cooperstown. It was nice. It's very very old timey. It's like
very quaint little houses.
Yeah. It feels like it almost feels like you went to the
Field of Dreams. That's about it.
What?
Oh, that's cool.
I've been to the Field of Dreams and Bob Feller's Hall of Fame or museum thing because he's from Iowa. Yes, had to do it in high school. Sports and Society field trip.
Sports and Society?
It's a class, baby, yeah.
That's a class?
It was, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was awesome.
What did you do?
Well, we talked about sports in society, and then so we went on, like, trips or, like, stuff like that. Like, so on the way, we went to also Herbert Hoover, who was the first Iowa president ever. And then, we went to Feller's Museum. We went to the Field of Dreams, just a bunch of stuff like that.
Just a big Iowa grand tour.
Yeah, we went to Illinois a little bit, but yeah, pretty much.
Oh, my God. That's funny. All right, let's move on from the good news to the bad news.
Your number one team got beat by my number one team?
But Boomer, did they really though? But did they really though?
No, I think it's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life in sports, besides the Raiders getting beat by the Patriots that started a whole dynasty in the Tuck rule. I think the Tuck rule was even worse, but this goes up there.
No, I don't think so. I think this is way
Tuck
worse.
Rule, not worse. He literally fumbled the ball and they made up their own rule.
Tuck rule is worse. It's way worse than this.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm just comparing it to the world we live in now, and in the world of social media and literal instant replay, this is going to be but this is going to be under much more of a microscope than the Tuck rule.
No way. Tuck rule was a huge deal.
It was just made up, like nobody heard of it. Like if your arm was moving forward, it's either a forward pass or it's not. You know.
I guess maybe the wound is just more fresh with this one because it hurt. It hurt me so bad. I was a Saints fan these playoffs. I really was. I always root for the Saints. It's just ridiculous.
Listen, there's a bunch of missed calls throughout the whole game.
But
one just happened to be at the end of the game when everybody was watching.
No, Mike, because the problem...
No, you can't do that, though.
Right.
I saw a guy on Twitter that threw out the stats trying to explain how their yards per carries that they had and missed calls that they had. And guess what? There's always going to be missed calls in the game, okay? That has no bearing on the... or what the Saints were doing, yards per play and stuff like that. That doesn't matter because despite all of that, the Saints had the ball to win the game, called the perfect play to win the game, threw the pass to the guy to get the first down, he gets fucking ran over.
But who's to say that they score? I'm just saying, who says that they score even if they get the first down?
They don't have to score.
A 25-yard field goal is like 98% in the NFL. 98% chance that they make the field goal with no time left and the game's over.
I don't know. It sucks. It was a missed call
but it's not even just one missed call. It's a missed call by it's two missed calls by two referees. It's not only the pass interference. They even came out and outed themselves and said that they also missed the helmet to helmet.
Well, what do you want? The guy played for the Rams.
It's either defenseless receiver. It's either pass interference. It's either
helmet to helmet.
I mean, there's all kinds of things. On that play.
You could have thrown a flag, and the biggest problem is, and they do it in the NBA, they do it in the NHL, and they do it in the NFL. When you have to change the way you call the games as a referee because it's the postseason. It's stupid. There is no let the boys play, and there is no call a tighter game. Call the same game that you called throughout the regular season, because I can almost guarantee you that a big reason of why this wasn't called is because the referee, it probably happened so fast in front of him, and he anticipated a bang play, and he was going to let the guys play, and it didn't work out. And it's stupid because any other time that ball, he was what, 3 yards away from the play, 4 yards away from the play. It was right in front of him. He didn't miss it. He made a judgment call.
Change the rule. Last 2 minutes of the game, you have the booth. Look at every play.
And I think that's
how you want to do it. You want to make the game 7 hours long?
No.
He missed a call.
They need to be held accountable. They're not held accountable.
It was egregious. Helmet to helmet and pass interference.
They need to be held accountable. They're not held accountable.
I agree. I don't care if you make a rule. Refs need to start being
fine him, suspend him,
for having terrible games.
Ban him from prime time and postseason games.
There's not enough of them. There's not enough refs. They can't just be suspending them.
They're honestly not that good. You can get anybody. Obviously.
Yup. Why? What's the difference?
Human error. Unless you take the human error aspect out of sports, you're going to have this type of stuff.
But Mike, what's the difference between having these guys blow a call like that and having the replacement refs stand next to each other and one call incomplete and the other one call a touchdown? What's the difference? These guys are supposed to be the professionals.
At least they can pull it in and talk about it if somebody throws a flag at that point.
But they did. They did talk about it. If you remember, it was quick, but they even said the officials are gathering together, and then they walked away, and the play went on, and like nothing happened. So they got together for a second. There's no excuse for it.
I've had on Twitter for years. I've had a thing that says find these refs. It's my thing. I think refs should be held accountable. They're out there acting lawless. It pisses me off, and it has pissed me off for years. And I hope people finally get on board. And this is one of those calls where they should be held accountable. They should be fined. They should, or banned from being able to do primetime games or postseason games.
Yeah.
There should be something. I mean, during the regular season, those guys that have terrible games, they should also be punished. There should be something in place.
There has to be a certain standard.
Do whatever they want.
They have to be held to a standard.
Add a couple more referees for playoff games. Whatever the crew is. If it's 6 guys, make it 10 guys during the playoffs.
They already had 1 or 2.
You find a spot for them.
I don't know. I think that's
I'm just thinking of alternatives because the only thing that's going to happen is they're going to go to the booth for everything within 2 minutes of every single game next year. I can guarantee it, and it's going to slow the game up tremendously, and you're going to start to see people complaining about that.
I think only thing I can see is I don't think there should be a rule change. I agree with anything under 2 minutes. I think there probably wouldn't be as much, but there still could be stuff. I think if they're going to do anything, they should add 1 extra challenge, and the challenge should be only for plays like this. You can only do it once throughout the game. So if you want to save it to the end of the game because something like this hurts you, then you can throw the challenge flag. Other than that, everything else should be the same. Or you can throw it in the middle of the game if you think it's going to hurt the middle of the game.
You know what? Honestly, Boomer, out of all the ideas that I've heard from TV, radio, and stuff that we've talked about and other people have talked about, that's probably the best idea that I've heard. You have one we'll call it a penalty challenge, right? You have 1 penalty challenge. If you don't think a player
has to be a penalty for a penalty challenge, no?
Huh?
Yeah.
You can't just throw it and say, "Oh wait, I thought I saw holding on that play."
Okay, here's
something like that.
Here's my amendment to it, right?
Rep through it, or if you think that the receiver was offensive pass interference,
right.
I mean,
here's my amendment to it.
Play, not holding.
Spot fouls only.
Yeah.
Spot fouls only. So a pass interference. You know where you get the ball.
But that can also be used as strategy, when a team is driving with 42 seconds left and they're on their 2-minute offense and the defense is gassed, then the coach throws the.
That's be a penalty. You can't just all of a sudden throw the flag.
What's that?
Yeah, there still has to be a penalty. You can't just all of a sudden throw the flag.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be.
You're saying if there was a no call?
The Rams Saints play.
You're saying if there was a no call. Right.
Correct.
Right. Well,
I mean, unless you're saying I'm throwing this flag because I think there was a penalty and you didn't see it, so go back to the tape. So then that's going to get real dicey.
Defense. I mean, obviously, if coaches if they feel that they're just throwing it out there to do that, you can give them a penalty for all we care under 2 minutes. Obviously, if you're just throwing a flag out to be egregious, they're going to be able to tell.
But you know what the problem is? The problem is that there are people who are supposedly smarter than us, who definitely get paid a lot more money than us, that should be figuring this out. And the fact that they haven't up to this point, with all the catch bullshit that has gone on over the years, is ridiculous. All I want is competency. I mean, to quote fucking Bill Belichick, do your job. That's it. We all have to go to work every day and do our job. And if we're not competent enough to do our job, we get punished for it one way or another, whether it's being fired or whatever it is. So if these guys can't go out there and do their job, find someone who can, or educate them to the point where they do their job the right way. I mean, you could do that too. Put them back in class. If they blow a huge call like that, that referee should be put back in class and have to be re-educated on what the rules are of the game and have to study film and go through all of it all over again before he's qualified to do another postseason game. They have to be held to a standard. They have to be held accountable.
Yeah, like a defensive driver's course, but for referees.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But that's exactly what I'm saying.
They're just zebras.
Yeah, right.
They're not just zebras. They're changing games.
That's what I was going to say.
They think they're bigger than the game, especially in basketball.
I mean, basketball.
What's that guy? Not Billy Donovan. The the old referee that got caught because he was gambling.
Damn it, I forgot his name. Yeah,
something Donovan, I think.
No, it's not.
McSomething.
Yeah.
McDonough.
Some Irish
Donahue.
Some Irish guy.
Yeah, Donahue.
So, all right. Now that my rant is over on that game, let's move on to the other. Move on. I don't know where I got that accent from. Let's move on to. Let's move on to the next game that I want to complain about. The Patriots Chiefs. Does anybody else want to complain before I do?
I don't have anything to complain about.
Yeah, screw you.
Tom Brady lost that game. He threw an interception. He got extremely lucky. The guy was off sides.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And he wasn't having a great
Everybody
game.
said that, but it's not the fact. The guy was off sides and he was clearly off
Fine, no, fair. But you know who won that game? The Patriots defense and the Patriots offensive line and their running backs won that game. Tom Brady played game manager. Don't get me wrong. The throws he threw to Julian Edelman at the end of the game, whipping it in on him in the middle of the field, his release looked...
It was wicked nice.
Yeah, I won't go there. His release looked, honestly, as quick as it ever did. He was firing rockets in there to him. It looked like it was just hitting Edelman's hands so hard he had no choice but to, it was catching his hands almost. He looked great at the end of the game. But until then, he wasn't doing anything special. They were running all over them. Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels do it again, knowing that the Kansas City Chiefs had, I think it was the second best pass rush defense in the league, right? I think they had the second most amount of sacks in the league. As much as everybody wants to say their defense is so bad, it's because their defense is on the field all the time because their offense is constantly scoring quickly too. But knowing that they're playing against that defense and that pass rush, what did Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels do? They ran all over them. Sony Michel looked like a beast like he did in certain games this year when they did the same thing. So the fact that everybody's riding Tom Brady right now, talking about how he carried them to another Super Bowl and
Nobody's saying that. I haven't heard that at all.
I have. That's all I've heard. I've heard.
I haven't heard anything like that.
That's all I've heard. That's all I've heard is this is all Tom Brady.
The guy's okay. The second interception, anyways, isn't even his fault. Hit Julian Edelman in the hands. I mean, let's not get carried away like he threw another bad pass.
Whatever. But my point is
every single game, man.
But the point is that yes, he's Tom Brady. Yes, he's one of the greatest ever. Whatever. I'm not taking any of that away from him.
He's not one of. He is the greatest ever.
But anyway, so getting into this game and winning that game was not done on Tom Brady's back. It wasn't. It was Tom Brady, like Mike just said, threw the season away.
No, he didn't.
Dee Ford gave it back. Dee Ford gave it back. Tom Brady threw the season away. He pulled Brett Favre, and Dee Ford gave it back.
He didn't, because it didn't happen. So
it did. I saw it happen.
BS.
All right, so then I'm going to use that on the Saints-Rams game, and the pass interference didn't happen, so the Rams won that game fair and square.
That even more so didn't happen, if you really want to go there. That literally didn't happen. That's the whole problem, is that it didn't happen.
Tom Brady, more Super Bowls than any other team in the NFL.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
so ridiculous.
I just don't get what you think. I don't get why you think Tom Brady has to do everything every game. He's still the quarterback. He still drove down that overtime like it was nothing and scored. I mean, that was Tom Brady, correct?
I got a question, too. My question is, when is Andy Reid going to learn? You have to blitz this guy. You can't send a 3-man rush and drop everybody back in coverage and not blitz Tom Brady. The blueprint has been there. The blueprint has been there for years. The Giants set the blueprint a long time ago, and it never changed. Every time the Patriots lose, it's the same story. They got to Tom Brady. Every team gets to Tom Brady if you want to win. Andy Reid has played him enough times to know this. I don't know why he doesn't learn. Tough
one. It was tough. I really wished Tom Brady would have lost, and the Patriots would have lost.
Now we know why Eric Bieniemy didn't get a head coaching job this year. Guy can't even call plays in the AFC Championship game. Son of a bitch.
Well, we could talk about our future coach shutting out the best offense in the league for the first half.
Yeah, he's actually meeting with them, I think, tonight, and then he's unavailable until after the Super Bowl. Greer wants to meet with him and go over, what they need to put in place for him.
Staffing and stuff, coordinators.
Did you hear this?
And stuff like that.
You know who is basically the lead person in choosing our next signal caller behind the offensive line? None other than Dan the Man Marino.
Oh, yeah?
They put him in charge of finding our next quarterback.
Oh, that's it.
From Mike Tannenbaum to Dan Marino, baby. I like it.
That's it.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, because John Elway's done such a good job at it.
I knew you were going to go there because that was in my head for just now, too. I know. But you know
Marino's
what?
better than Elway.
Yep. I was going to say, but Dan Marino's better than John Elway.
Yes. Boomer, did you watch the documentary? Did you watch the documentary with the agent? He was the same agent represented Marino and Elway in the draft, and he's best friends with both of them. Because he says who he thinks is the best.
No,
he doesn't. I'm lying. At the end, he's like, "I'll never tell you," but they insinuate that he thinks Marino was better. I'm just saying.
No, Elway took garbage teams to the Super Bowl multiple times.
He cried because of the team he got drafted to and said he wasn't going to play.
So what?
Dude.
What does that have to be a quarterback?
Dude. TD was a huge part of that team, Boom.
What?
Terrell Davis was a huge part of that team.
2,000 yards.
He took the teams of 3 or 4 Super Bowls before those guys.
Who did he win with?
No, he always had a running back.
No, he didn't.
Come on, dude.
His teams were garbage.
So if we're going to talk about Marino not winning, the knock on Elway was that he couldn't win until he had that team.
At least.
At the end of his career.
No.
Because it was the best team he played with in his career, Boom.
He went to like 4 Super Bowls before he ever won.
Whatever.
I hate talking quarterbacks. I hate talking about quarterbacks. I hate
way better than Marino.
Oh, God.
I can't do it. I can't.
We still need to do our quarterback list, boys. Let's not forget.
I know. Maybe we'll do that next week because it's going to be a dead week.
What did we say?
You think so?
Top
what? 10 from 1990 or something like that, you said?
No, top
20?
Top 15 from 1985. From the 1985 draft on.
I don't care.
I think that makes sense.
Boomer's going to pick like Rich Gannon.
I know.
No, I'm not.
Trent Dilfer. All right.
Hey, I will say this though: Trent Dilfer's got more Super Bowl wins than Dan Marino.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
All right. Anyway.
Oh, the pain.
Let's make our Super Bowl picks. I don't want.
I'll start because I sucked at the pre-playoff starting. I don't think I hit anything. So I'm gonna say Tom Brady wins because he faced the Rams 18 years ago, I guess, and that was his first Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he wins and he actually retires, goes out on top.
So, remember, I think I told you Boomer's conspiracy theory. That was it, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah. I did it.
Oh, you did tell me. You did tell me. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I said is that in my tweet I said Tom Brady, before both these guys played, I said I was looking at anybody else see Tom Brady versus the Rams as an underdog, which he started as an underdog, now they're a favorite, and then beating the Rams again, ending his career the way it began. But I actually think the Rams win. I don't think Brady's done.
I don't think the Rams can beat them. I think Belichick outcoaches them.
I don't think so. Belichick got
there's going to be some trickery.
He can do it again.
By who?
By Doug Peterson.
No. I'm talking to Mike.
Oh.
I just think both coaches are going to try to be like the outsmarted the other one. So I think there's going to be a lot of like trick plays, more than a typical team.
If that's the case, then that's going to hurt Sean McVay because Bill Belichick doesn't call most of the plays. So
It's true.
Sean McVay, he wants him to try and be the boy genius.
Josh McDaniels calls the plays.
Yeah, Bill Belichick doesn't call him on either side. He literally is just the head coach.
Yep.
Now, he might come in and say, that's a bad defensive situation, let me help out, but he don't go out and call anything.
You don't think he oversees McDaniels?
No, he oversees the defense. They run his defense, but he doesn't call the plays.
So,
Gotcha.
Sean McVay's head where he might get too big of a head, just being like, hey, I'm a young guy, I'm smarter than Bill Belichick, he's been in all these Super Bowls, and I'm going to show you, and that could cost him. But at the same time, I don't know what's happening with Todd Gurley. Is he going to play? Is he going to be awesome?
What is that about?
I don't know.
Nobody
I don't get
knows.
it.
He's still hurt. He's got to be still hurt.
He says he's not.
I don't have a clue. I don't
C.J.
understand.
Anderson is filling in for now, but I don't know.
What I also don't get is how it's not a bigger story. How it's not people trying to figure this out. I don't get it.
Well, you know what? Let Media Day come next week and it's going to blow up. That's what's going to happen. Because that's going to be the only thing they're going to want to talk to him about. It's the only thing people are going to ask Todd Gurley. So,
we'll see.
All right, so me and Mike got the Patriots. Boomer's got, I hope you're right, Boomer. Boomer's got the Rams.
I'm also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, whoever the dog is, so if the Rams would end up being the favorite again, whoever the dog is by the time of the Super Bowl, I'm teasing them and the over-under for the game for a whole lot of money like I did. I teased both dogs in the championship games. Easy win, both won outright. Should have money. Remember I said I should money line parlay it? Totally forgot to. And I wanted to, and I totally forgot. I thought that I maybe already had. Sucks that I didn't because it was an easy winner. But I had tons of money on that. I'm going to put tons of money on another teaser. Whoever the dog is, I'm teasing it up. And the over.
What's the number for over-under? 49.5?
No, it's in the 50s.
Is it?
I want to say it started at 57.5. I want to say it might be down to 56 now.
Wow, that's higher than I thought.
Yeah, I would have thought like 51, 52. Wow.
Well, if I tease it, it'll be like 50, 51 is what I'm hoping for.
All right, so
You said you're taking the under? Boom.
I'm going to take so if you tease the over, you get 6 off of it. So if it's 50, so it would go down to 50, 51. If it goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tease it. And I have a feeling it's going to be like a 28, 24, 27, 25 kind of game.
Yeah. Watch another Patriots-Seahawks Super Bowl, 17-13-ish.
As long as my Super Bowl box is hit, I don't care what the score is.
I don't have any yet. I gotta
get on it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't care. Sometimes I don't do it. But anyway, let's move on. The last two topics are topics brought to us by Boomer. You got a problem with Scottie Pippen?
Yeah, I got a huge problem with Scottie Pippen, that piece of shit.
Whoa!
Trying to
Tell me how you really feel.
How can you go and tell a college freshman who's playing awesome he should just quit and sit out so he can play in the NBA next year? That is the most ridiculous fucking quitting statement I've ever heard in my life. That's exactly why Scottie Pippen had to go back to his wife who was cheating on him and beg her to come back. The guy's a goddamn pussy, and he should shut his mouth.
All right. Anything else to add? I got nothing.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. So anyway,
imagine Boomer watching Scottie Pippen play in his heyday.
Moving on to the next topic, also brought to us by Boomer, who is now in the upper right-hand corner. What was it? Oh, right. The one that you'd say nobody cares about baseball. Jesus Christ.
Iowa Hawkeyes basketball, baby. This
segment is for no one other than if you're from Iowa. So
for the 4 people watching in Iowa, this is for you. Thank
Boomer's
you.
cousin that checks out the show.
Yeah.
This one's for you.
There's a lot of people I know that listen to the show, so screw you guys. All right. A lot of them are Iowa State fans, so it doesn't even matter to them either. But last year, people wanted to fire our head coach. People this year still complain about our head coach. I personally like him. It's one of the few Iowa coaches I actually do like. I don't like our football coach that much. But they're on a 5-game conference win streak, 19 in the nation. They play this Thursday, tomorrow, against the number 6 team, Michigan State, at home. Hopefully they can get up for it. Michigan State kicked the shit out of them at Michigan State earlier in the year. But it looks like they're going to be tourney-bound, and Iowa is hosting Des Moines, where I live, is hosting games this year, so maybe there's a chance that they can get in and play here. And that'd be a real home field advantage, and that'd be pretty cool, but they have to be ranked pretty high to get into that by the end of the year. Or one of the top, I think, 4 seeds of each bracket. So I don't know how that breaks down. One of the top 12 teams, something like that. So hopefully it can happen. It'd be pretty cool. And big game this Thursday, so you might as well watch. Tune in, New Yorkers.
I'm a Larry Izzo guy. Sorry, Boomer.
You Johnnies.
What'd you call us? Johnnies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think either. You didn't go to St. John's, right, Mike?
Nope.
No.
You don't even watch basketball, probably. Too busy looking over stupid facts about Mariano Rivera.
Rivera. I don't know who this Mariano Rivera character is.
Yeah.
That's how I know he's not that good. I don't even know his real name.
Oh my god.
I don't even know what number he was. That's how
What?
unprecedented he is.
You really don't know what number he was? That's like one of the most biggest things. Are you serious?
I don't think anybody.
You really don't know, Boomer? Shame on you, Boomer.
I heard you say it earlier, but before that,
All right, don't tell him, Ronnie. Don't tell him. Hold on.
No, I
only
heard
two people ever wore it.
Well, that's not true. That's not true.
No,
it was retired, and he was the last person that was allowed to wear it. And now there will never be this number ever again.
I already heard him say it at the beginning of the podcast.
42! The same number as Jackie Robinson.
I don't give a shit.
Oh man, we're gonna break you in. Don't worry, this baseball season will get you. You're gonna be.
No, we won't.
You're gonna be rooting for I don't know.
Man. I'll be busy golfing while people are playing 9-hour fucking boring ass games.
What's the closest baseball city to you?
Chicago? Kansas City. I went to a game last year. Royals.
No wonder why you don't like baseball.
Royals, Twins, Cubs, White Sox.
No wonder why you don't like baseball.
I wouldn't like it either if I.
What are you talking about? They won the World Series before the Yankees have in recent history.
Who?
The Royals.
And when did they win one before that?
Who cares?
All right, thank you very much. I'd rather have 27 in the past.
You guys have won what? Like
No. Hang on.
Over the 90s, 80s, 70s.
I would rather have 27 championships in the past than 1 2 years ago. No thanks.
That's spoken like a true loser.
No
thanks. You don't see one in sight.
Loser.
That's why.
I won 27 times. They won once.
You didn't win shit.
I won. I have
the Yankee fans. They are part of the team.
No, it's not being a Yankee fan. It's just being a fan. I would say the same thing about the Dolphins too. I say the same thing about the Dolphins too. I'm undefeated. In 1972, we went undefeated.
You weren't even born. You don't count.
Doesn't matter. I don't need to be born. I was there.
You weren't even a thought in your dad's sperm sack. You do not get to that Dolphins.
Oh, God.
So, we usually do music after the show. Nobody's really stepped up this week, so there might be, there might not. If there is, go check out their page, whatever that is.
Yeah, just don't go check out those idiots that want us to pay them $20 fucking for a song.
Yeah, whatever you do.
I hope they listen to this podcast. Go F yourselves, you weird bastards.
That's right. Don't come to us asking for money, damn it.
Anybody else? We're open. Two free songs.
It's awesome.
We promise Boomer won't call you asshole.
Yeah, cross-promotion networking, it's all we want to do. We're not trying to pay you, make money off you, or steal your
it's really helping. We're starting to get comments on our page because of it. It's helping. So
that's it. So anybody who wants to reach out, leave comments if you like the podcast. Obviously, if you watched the show before, you see that sometimes there's 4 of us. We're down to 3. Mentioned it earlier. Zach might not be back as much as he used to be. We're always more than welcome to having
what
someone.
Happened to that Tony dude that recorded that one that we never got to air? What happened to that dude?
Yeah, he actually went. We'll talk about it off the air. I'm not going to talk about
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan, he said.
M. Night Shyamalan Network.
The Liberty Shaman Network.
There you go. There you go.
But anyway, so we always are looking to have other people on the show. So anybody that would want to, just reach out on social media. And we will see you next week. Congratulations, Mariano Rivera.
Mariano Rivera.
The Sandman, number 42, for those of you that are unknowledgeable. If
Most
that's the
don't
word.
care.
See you next week. Peace
Buy
out.
some Mama Basso pizza if you're from Iowa.
Yeah, Mama Zaba Zaba Pizza. Zaba Zoo.